Welcome, I'm Sean Connery, and today I'll be giving you a bit of news on the Protoss. Meet the Protoss, a devastating army, talented in its combat, and elegant in its method of attack. The Protoss is a deadly foe, the kind of guys that bring a knife to a gunfight. In the Protoss' early years, they had no time for digging and burying cables, so they developed floating rocks to supply themselves with power. Unfortunately, Jimmy and the boys were out in the field playing with guns, and they tipped it over. Thousands of homes were powerless. In response, Protoss announced a really tall death weapon called the Colossus. Hearing this, the Dark Templar joined the Protoss army. The idea of a Colossus was incredible. It could scale cliffs with ease and swat down air units with its face. Unfortunately, it was impossible to sneak up on its opponent, and unfortunately it only swat down anti-air fire with its face. So the Dark Templar left the army. Now, instead of designing a new Colossus that was shorter, or reverting back to the Reaver design, the Protoss was proud and stubborn, and developed a new weapon. A weapon that would make their enemies taller. It would be called the Phoenix, and the Phoenix was equipped with two fantastic weapons. An unstoppable ability to pick units up, and a secondary weapon to put them back down. The second newest unit in the Protoss Air Force arsenal was the Void Ray, another devastating opponent with two weapons as well. The first weapon was a frightening beam of light. The second weapon was a slightly shinier beam of light. Unfortunately, the pilots experienced a slight side effect where their brains turned to yogurt. Fortunately, the Protoss solved this problem by putting a zealot inside an anti-yogurtization suit, and this worked 20% of the time, although it was decided that it worked better to trick the opponent into piloting the Void Ray. Finally, the prize of the Protoss army was its new mothership. The mothership was rumored to be massive, larger than any aircraft ever created before. It was supposed to support over 500,000 families, and it was said to be indestructible. It was armed with 3 high-powered flashlights. Unfortunately, it went missing after crashing into an iceberg. Fortunately, not all hope was lost for the Protoss. One unit remained, the flagship of the Air Navy, the Protoss Carrier. Now, after seeing how effective it was, a strange unknown force known as Blizzard gave it to the Terran army. At this point, it seemed like the fate of the Protoss depended on the High Templar and their Kydarian amulet.